welcome class. This is Tanya Londono-Rivera. I'm one of the students that chose If Disney Ran Your Hospital. Nine and a Half Things You Do Differently by Fred Lee. Fred Lee is an awesome writer. He's a phenomenal character and as well as patient, I'd say. If Disney ran your hospital, there'd be many changes. First and foremost, I find this book very helpful. I find this book very interesting, and there's a lot of key points that coming to reality as a patient being in a hospital, you should experience not just a wonderful experience, but a loyal experience, well, rather than any type of experience. What this author does gives many key points, introduces many settings and many places where he, as a patient, didn't feel as if he was in Disney. Changing up the system, if you were in Disney, how would you feel? What is it like going to Disney World? Disney World is a place where laugh, you have adventure, you enjoy, you're always smiling, and there's no sadness, there's no disappointments, there's no stress over you. It's a relief zone, it's a safe zone, and a children's zone where everyone wants to be happy and play and have fun. I find this book very successful because real hospitals, any type of facilities, should introduce some qualities and some points from this book because, every facility and hospital follows protocols, follows a type of settings and ways to run a hospital. What this book gives us points that because you're so strict and because you're following protocols, you're not following patients' loyalty. You're not being very vulnerable. You're making the patient have an experience, but not have a wonderful experience. Not have the patient feel I was at the hospital, but not only was I treated welcome, not only was I treated loved, but I was treated as if I was in a happy place, as if I was in my own home. That's the things that we want patients to feel. One of the things I want to say and I recommend hospitals. Yes, thanks to hospitals and thanks to any type of healthcare facility, of course, they provide patient care. But I'd say that the main key points that Federally wants us to know is not only are we just running a hospital, but listen, we're running a whole entire industry here that we deal with patients. You're dealing with customer service. You're dealing with, feedback. You're dealing with many questions and answers and many types of patient's life. What we want to do in this case, in this scenario, not just provide customer service, not just provide um, different type of thing that patients need, but we want the patient's loyalty. What that means in this circumstance, that you're developing different points that you're making the patient feel as if they're expressing themselves, feel you're hearing them, you're providing that little tiny aspect of love for the patient. Believe it or not, we're all brothers and sisters, whether or not. Religion wise, I'm Catholic, but I think that way. I like this book because not only am I a Disney fan, but I grew up as a child with Disney Channel, with Cinderella, with the princess, with, and for me, I'd say this book opened my mind. Like I reflected so many things in this book. My head was like, wow, I definitely wish Disney could run a hospital. It'd make patients' life easier, happy. It'd make sad moments into bright moments. It'd make difficult moments. If you're a hospital, we're not there smiling. We're not there for a happy reason. Maybe we are, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're there injured. We're probably there unsecured. We're like, oh my goodness, we don't want to be in a hospital. Who wants to be in a hospital as a patient? I feel nobody does. But in the meanwhile, you're in the hospital. We hope patients to feel, you know, loved, feel that there's a little bit of spirit in the hospital, not just pretty standard protocols. Yes, there has to be protocols in any facility, but protocols that make the patient have a happy moment. I want to also point out a scenario in which Fred Lee, as a patient himself, experienced as the urge of going to the bathroom. And there was a housekeeper who was doing cleaning. And he said, may I use the restroom? And what the housekeeper did? Turned him down and said, no, the cleaning isn't used. So she there did not provide a welcome customer service or listen, be courageous and say, yes, you can use, what does it take, 5 minutes? In other words, she told the patient to go to the next room, which is down there across the wall somehow. He had no idea. He didn't know where specifically the bathroom was, but he thought, wow, You're there doing your job because you want to complete your job, but you're not there providing that little bit of loyalty, that little bit of, courageous being helpful to the patient. You're making them just, you're turning them down because you have to do cleaning. So these little things are some aspects that as a patient, how would you feel? So I really like this book. I enjoyed the 10 chapters in this book. Each chapter had a different scenario, had a different case in which he himself went through. So I recommend this book to every all my classmates or whoever read this book agrees with me that not only did this book make big changes, but it come into reality. What if Disney ran your hospital? How would the hospital be? How would it be as an experience? How would you, as a patient, want to always come back to that specific hospital because Disney ran your hospital? So there are many different aspects that we want people to understand. There are many different. This also has a lot of different stories that I was reading as well. But listen, I'm so thankful I chose this book. I reflected so much with this book because there were points that I was like, "Wow, um, have you ever witnessed a circumstance like this one?" And I did many times. Oh, especially here in New York, the state of New York, we have to be understandable. The hospitals here are extremely strict. And hopefully one day, laws will turn out a little and things will be more positive and things will work out together so we can have your hospital stay be a little more relaxed, more helpful, and an experience that you always want to come back for whenever you need to go to the hospital. Thank you, classmates. I appreciate for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy this book as well. I recommend it. Take care. Have a nice day.